Nigeria President TINUBU to present 2025 budget to National Assembly next week Tuesday. Court grants KOGI ex-governor YAHAYA BELLO bail of 500 million naira. President Macron announces Francois BAYROU as new Prime Minister of France. And in sports, EPL, crisis hit Manchester City. Manchester United battle, Newcastle need win. A very warm welcome to you. This is MLC TV Global News, reaching you live from the city of Lokoja, the confluent state of Nigeria. I am Gift Daniel. Thanks for joining. President Bola Tinubu will present the 2025 budget next Tuesday. Akpabio made this known during the announcement at the Thursday plenary. He said, the president has made his intention known to the National Assembly to present the 2025 budget to the Joint Assembly of the National Assembly on the 7th of December 2024. Akpabio announced that the budget presentation will take place at the House of Representatives chamber. He further informed the lawmakers that plenary will be at 10:30 a.m. to allow senators meet in the Red Chamber before moving in procession to the House of Representatives chamber, where the budget will be presented. TINUBU had last month submitted the medium-term expenditure framework and fiscal strategy paper for 2025 to 2027 to both the Senate and the House of Representatives. Akpabio directed the Senate Committee on Finance, National Planning and Economic Affairs to consider the MTEF FSP document and report within 1 week. The Federal High Court Abuja on Friday granted the immediate past governor of KOGI State, YAHAYA BELLO, bail in the sum of 500 million naira, with 2 sureties in like sum. This was after the former governor had pleaded not guilty to the 19-count charges brought against him by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission. He is facing an alleged money laundering trial to the tune of 80 billion naira but pleaded not guilty to all the charges. When the case was called for hearing, Counsel of the EFCC, Kemi Pinheiro, notified the court of the intention of the prosecution to withdraw an earlier application for abridgment of the earlier date fixed for arraignment. He said the application had been overtaken by events. The defendants' counsels, led by Joseph Daudu, did not object, and Justice Emeka White accordingly granted the request. After the defendant had taken his plea, Daudu made clarifications on the reasons he had not been in court during the previous hearings. While moving an application for bail, he assured that the former governor would always be present in court for the trial. He commended the prosecution counsel, saying he had conducted himself in the best tradition because the matter was not a do-or-die one. He said they had agreed that the counsels would not stress his lordship over the issue of bail. The prosecution counsel concurred and said though they had filed a counter affidavit, they would not oppose the bail, going by the assurances of the learned lawyers. Ruling on the bail application, Justice White said he has listened to the submissions of both counsels. It is not in dispute that both counsels have filed applications in respect of this. Based on the account exhibited by learned counsel for the defendant, which was exhibited and supported by prosecution counsel, he is minded to change his earlier stand on the matter. He granted the defendant 500 million naira bail with 2 sureties. The defendant was also asked to submit his international passport. Recall that the ex-governor was earlier remanded in a fresh 110 billion naira charge by the EFCC pending his bail application. The wife of the KOGI State Governor, Sefinat Ododo, has urged women journalists and other women groups to take a leading role in combating violence against women, especially those in rural areas. Sefinat Ododo made this appeal when the executive members of the Nigeria Association of Women Journalists, NAWOJ, KOGI State Chapter, paid her a courtesy visit at her office in Lokoja. She also emphasized the importance of a united effort to address gender-based violence, GBV, at the grassroots level. She also emphasized the importance of a united effort to address gender-based violence, GBV, at the grassroots level. Reiterating her dedication to addressing GBV in the state, the governor's wife called for increased awareness campaign to remind parents of their crucial roles in fostering strong family bonds. She stressed that collective action is necessary to protect the rights of women, girls, and other vulnerable groups in the society. The state during the week sought an investigation into the recent demolitions in the Federal Capital Territory, FCT, and has set up an investigative committee to look into the matter. The committee will also invite the FCT Minister, WIKE, to appear before it to explain the reasons behind the demolitions, which have left many residents without homes. The motion, which was moved by Senator Ireti Kingibe of the FCT Senatorial District, expressed concern over the illegal demolition of structures in the nation's capital and called for an immediate stop to further demolitions. The Senate resolved to set up an investigative committee to look into the demolitions and report back to it within a specified time frame. The upper chamber also summoned the managing director of Julio Berger Nigeria PLC over the company's refusal to honor invitations to provide details on the Odopani-Itu Highway project. The Odopani-Itu Highway is located in Cross River State and Akwa Ibom States. It connects the town of Odopani in Cross River State to Itu in Akwa Ibom State, serving as a critical link for transportation and economic activities in the South-South region. According to a motion sponsored by Senator Osita Ngo, Julius Berger has neglected and refused to honor invitations to provide details of their role in the project, despite receiving substantial public funds amounting to over 18 billion naira. The Senate has condemned the refusal of Julius Berger and other entities to honor lawful invitations, which constitutes contempt of the National Assembly and undermines constitutional authority. Furthermore, the Senate has invoked its constitutional powers to issue a warrant of arrest to compel the attendance of the managing director of Julius Berger at the rescheduled investigative hearing. Ahead of future elections, the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) has recommended using computer-generated voting slips for those without permanent voters cards (PVCs). Speaking on Thursday in Abuja during the quarterly consultative meeting with resident electoral commissioners (RECs), INEC chairman Professor Mahmood Yakubu said PVCs should no longer be the sole requirement for voting, especially with the introduction of the Bimodal Voter Accreditation System (BVAS). Yakubu said the commission, having released its 524-page main report on the 2023 general election, has consulted widely with its official and externally with all major stakeholders. He said with the conclusion of 5 major off-cycle governorship elections and 9 out of 21 by-elections since the 2023 general election, this is the most appropriate time for INEC to commence the implementation of recommendations arising from her review of the general election. Yakubu disclosed that from the internal and external engagements, the Commission has identified 142 recommendations dealing with the general state of preparedness, voter management, voter education and public communication, political parties and candidate management, electoral operations, and logistic management. Others are election officials and personnel, partnership and collaboration, monitoring and supervision, election technology, voting and result management, election security, electoral offenses, and the electoral legal framework. He said out of the 142 recommendations, 86 require administrative action by the Commission. The INEC chairman also disclosed that as a matter of urgency, the Commission intends to develop protocols for the cleaning up of the voters' register in collaboration with other agencies such as the National Identity Management Commission, NIMC, and the National Population Commission, NPC. He said other areas of reform include advocacy for affirmative action for greater participation of underrepresented groups and more robust voter education and public communication to combat fake news and misinformation. The Institute for Tourism Professionals of Nigeria, ITPN, has nominated Dr. Fatima Obadaki to lead the Federal Capital Territory FCT Chapter's Interim Committee. This development follows the dissolution of the previous Executive Committee, ESCO, due to 2 years of inactivity. The decision was made during a recent meeting presided over by the National President, Abiodun Odusanwo. The meeting aims to upscale the chapter's activities, which had been dormant since several key leaders relocated from Abuja to pursue career advancement opportunities. Dr. Fatima Obadaki, a fellow of the Institute for Tourism Professionals of Nigeria, FITPN, will serve as the FCT chapter coordinator. Other nominated officers include Captain Emmanuel Lotz-Great, MITPM, as Secretary, Onofyong Ekong, MITPN, as Finance Officer, Yemi Owokpe MITPN as Membership Secretary, Abimbola Ogunlusi FITPN as Welfare Officer, and Florence Adedayo Tayo as Publicity Officer. In her acceptance speech, Dr. Fatima Obadaki appreciated the confidence reposed in her by her colleagues and pledged not to fail the tourism family. She emphasized the need for collaboration among committee members and the entire ITPN FCT chapter to achieve success. Kano State Governor Abba Yusuf has announced a reshuffle of the State Executive Council to effect pragmatic political realignment of his administration. In a statement issued by the governor's spokesperson, Sanusi Bature Dawankitofa, Governor Yusuf disclosed that the first major rigid of his cabinet takes immediate effect. According to the statement, Governor Yusuf maintained the much-awaited decision finally came to enable optimum performance that will drive more dividend of democracy to the good people of Kano State. Those affected by the major shake-up are the Chief of Staff, Shehu Wada Sagagi, whose office is now scrapped, and Secretary to the State Government, Dr. Abdullahi Bichi, dropped on health ground. According to Sanusi Dawankitofa, Governor Yusuf removed some cabinet members and reassigned others to enhance administrative performance and political routine. Meanwhile, Governor Yusuf has dropped 5 members of his cabinet to include Ibrahim Jibril Fage of Finance Ministry, Ladidi Gako, Culture and Tourism, Babat Dantiye, Information and Internal Affairs, Shehu Yamedi, Special Duties, and Abbas Sani Abbas, Rural and Community Development. Also, the governor has directed the Chief of Staff and the 5 commissioners that are dropped to report to the office of the governor for possible reassignment. Borno State Governor Professor Babagana Zulum has called for the implementation of robust skills acquisition programs, enhanced educational opportunities, and scholarship schemes as strategic measures to combat youth restiveness and unemployment in society. Speaking at the 7th National Council on Youth meeting, NCYM, held at the multipurpose hall of the Government House in Maiduguri, Governor Zulum emphasized the need for governments to prioritize youth development. He described the youth as future leaders who require adequate support to fulfill their potentials. Themed, transforming and repositioning the Nigerian youth to thrive and catalyze economic development. The meeting provided a platform for dialogue, innovation, and collaboration aimed at advancing youth development in Nigeria. Governor Zulum, the chief host of the event, expressed pride in Borno State's role in hosting the significant gathering. He highlighted his administration's unwavering commitment to youth empowerment since assuming office in 2019, despite the challenges posed by the prolonged Boko Haram insurgency. Governor Zulum also underscored the immense potential of Nigeria's youth population, noting that recent statistics reveal that 70% of the country's population is under the age of 30. He noted that since inception into office in 2019 to date, the present administration, which has been battling with over a decade-old Boko Haram crisis, has been very committed to supporting youth through implementation of various initiatives aimed at empowering the youth, which include provision of vocational training skills programs, education, scholarships, distribution of keke napep, electric motor vehicles, establishing mechanical village at Molai and other entrepreneurship support programs across the 27 local government areas of the state. He therefore commended the Federal Minister of Youth and Sports Development, FMYD, Ayodele Olawande, Borno Commissioner for Youth, Sports and Poverty Alleviation, Saina Buba, and all other stakeholders for choosing Borno as venue of the meeting, even as he urged participants to feel free and brainstorm critically towards complementing efforts of the government in revamping the future of youth in society. In his address, the Minister of Youth Development, Ayodele Olawande, expressed deep appreciation to Borno State Government for hosting the NCYM. He called on other state governors to emulate and follow the good steps of Governor Zulum in revamping the future of youths for the best. During the event, the National Youth Workers Association, NYWA, decorated Governor Babagana Zulum with Fellowship Award and renamed its national headquarters after the governor. Now on crime. 2 persons have been reportedly killed following 2 days of clashes between crop farmers and cattle herders in Poushi and Galindi villages in Baliri local government area of Gombe State. Residents said the attack also led to the destruction of vital agricultural produce. A resident of the area, Christiana Anthony, told a reporter in a telephone interview that the conflict began on Monday when a group of herders robbed a resident of Kalindi who was riding his motorcycle to his farm. She said the herders attacked the man and stole his motorcycle after he returned home. He shared his harrowing experience with the youth in the community. Another resident, Adams Malaika, also told this reporter that the violence on Wednesday began at Powushi before extending to Kalindi, leading to the death of 2 individuals. He said many have sustained injury and are in the hospital receiving treatment. The chairman of Isoko South, Warri, had on Tuesday sacked the traditional ruler of Olomoro community, Joseph Isaiah Iseke Edekere I, over alleged gross misconduct, lack of respect for constituted authority, and fanning ember of crisis in his own domain. After the traditional ruler in Olomoro community, Isoko South local government area of Delta State, Joseph Isaiah Iseke Edekere I, was sacked by the council chairman Friday Ovoke Warri. The state deputy governor, Monday Onyeme, has summoned the monarch to the government house, Asaba. Police parade 7 one-chance suspects, recovered 13 vehicles. Anthony from Kaduna State and Moses Obi from Cross River State all played roles in luring all suspecting victims around Mararaba Axis, AYA Junction, and Kubwa Expressway. According to him, the suspects mostly target their victims during early morning rush hours of commuters and crowded bus stops, as well as marketplaces and Inyanya markets. CP Disu, who also gave the names of the 3 other suspects as Stephen Moses, also a native of Benue State, Jude Simon, and Tafa Aker, also from Benue State, saying Tafa, who resides near Mararaba Park, has been collaborating with the gang to target their victims. He disclosed that 13 tinted vehicles being used by the suspects were recovered from them, adding that other exhibits also recovered included 3 POS machines, 5 laptops, 3 phones, $203, 109 phone memory cards, a blindfold, and plier. He said the suspects will be charged to court upon conclusion of investigation. The police commissioner, while calling on residents of the FCT to continue to remain vigilant and report any suspicious activities, said community intelligence remained vital in combating crime and ensuring the safety of all. We go on a short break. We will be right back. Please stay with us.
MLC TV Online is here. For your timely and reliable news that reaches you fast with the breaking news, choose MLC TV. Get human interest stories right here on MLC TV with entertainment, sports, business, culture, tourism, and fashion news stories all featured on MLC TV. Not forgetting political and current affairs news, state and federal government and people's matters will be discussed regularly on MLC TV. MLC TV, your one-stop online destination for unbiased, accurate news, entrepreneur ideas, and youth matters to the rest of the world. MLC TV, reaching everywhere, informing everyone.
Welcome back. Thanks you are still there. The Commissioner of Police, Kwara State, Victor Alaiya Command, has confirmed the successful arrest of a notorious suspected kidnapper, Mohammed Bello, also known as Dandolo. The arrest, according to a statement through the State Police Public Relations Officer, DSP Adetoun Ejire Adeyemi, was made possible following an actionable intelligence received from Egbe, KOGI State, indicating that the suspect had fled to Patigi, Kwara State, to evade arrest. Mohammed Bello is suspected to be involved in a series of kidnapping operations in Egbe, Isonlu, and surrounding areas in KOGI State. Upon receiving the information, the command immediately deployed a surveillance team to track the suspect's movements. A thorough search of various locations, including hotels in Patigi, was conducted and was apprehended at an undisclosed location. This operation was carried out in collaboration with the Nigerian Army Forward Operation Base, FOB, in Negbe, KOGI State, led by Lieutenant Issa. The suspect has been transferred to the Anti-Kidnapping Unit of the State Criminal Investigation Department, SCID, Ilorin, for further investigation. Mohammed Bello has confessed to several kidnapping incidents along the Omoaran, Ilofa, Osi, Eruku, Egbe Road in Kwara State, and also kidnap incidents along the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway. The CP assures the public that a discreet and thorough investigation will be conducted to ensure that justice is served. The command remains committed to ensuring the safety and security of all residents in Kwara State and its environs. Next on our foreign news. Despite criticism from Vice President Kashim Shettima accusing Kemi BADENOCH of denigrating Nigeria, leader of the United Kingdom UK Conservative Party says there is no regret over her remarks about the country. Born in the UK but largely raised in Nigeria, BADENOCH has repeatedly described her upbringing as being overshadowed by fear and insecurity in a country plagued by corruption. Typically criticizing the countries for its socio-economic challenges, the Conservative Party leader said she grew up in Nigeria and she saw firsthand what happened when politicians are in it for themselves. Then they use public money as their private piggy banks when they pollute the whole political atmosphere with their failure to serve others. She saw what socialism is for millions. She saw poverty and broken dreams. She came to Britain to make her way in a country where hard work and honest endeavor can take an individual anywhere. However, Vice President Kashim Shettima had on Monday accused BADENOCH of denigrating Nigeria with her remarks, comparing her to former Prime Minister Rishi Sunak, a brilliant young man from India who has never spoken negatively about his ancestral country. Shettima challenged BADENOCH to change her first name if she no longer wished to identify with her homeland. But while reacting to Vice President Shettima's comments, BADENOCH spokesperson said UK opposition leader stands by her statements and does not have any interest in doing PR for Nigeria. The spokesperson said in the statement, she is the leader of the opposition and she is very proud of her leadership of the opposition in the country. She tells the truth. She tells it like it is. She's not going back to couch her words, and she stands by what she says. President Joe Biden said he had commuted the sentences of nearly 1,500 people and pardoned 39 others in what the White House called the largest single-day act of clemency in United States history. Biden said America was built on the promise of possibility and second chances. As president, he has the great privilege of extending mercy to people who have demonstrated remorse and rehabilitation. Biden said the 39 people forgiven for non-violent crimes have shown successful rehabilitation and have shown commitment to making their communities stronger and safer. The White House said the nearly 1,500 people granted commuted sentences, the most ever in a single day, had been serving them at home for at least 1 year. Biden said these commutation recipients who were placed on home confinement during the COVID-19 pandemic has successfully reintegrated into their families and communities and has shown that they deserve a second chance. This month, Biden faced criticism for issuing an official pardon for his son Hunter, who was convicted and was due to be sentenced on gun and tax charges. Despite earlier assurances that he would not intervene in his son's legal troubles, Hunter Biden pleaded guilty in a tax evasion trial in September and was facing up to 17 years in prison. For the separate gun charge, he was facing 25 years in prison. The White House said among those getting relief from the president on Thursday included a decorated military veteran and pilot who spent much of his time helping his fellow church members. A nurse who has led emergency response for several natural disasters and an addiction counselor who volunteers his time were also singled out for relief. The White House said, together, these actions build on the president's record of criminal justice reform to help reunite families, strengthen communities, and reintegrate individuals back into society. French President Emmanuel Macron has announced Francois BAYROU as the new Prime Minister of France. BAYROU, 73, is a veteran centrist leader and a close ally of President Macron. A reporter said that BAYROU would be tasked with steering France out of its second major political crisis in the last 6 months. The priority for BAYROU, a close Macron ally, would be passing a special law to roll over the 2024 budget, with a nastier battle over the 2025 legislation looming early next year. Parliamentary pushback over the 2025 bill led to the downfall of former Prime Minister Michael Barnier's government. Next is sports updates. Manchester's crisis hit clubs face-off in the Premier League when City hosts United on Sunday, while Newcastle boss Eddie Howe badly needs a win against Leicester at St James Park. Leaders Liverpool, playing Fulham at Anfield, will expect to stretch their lead at the top of the table a day before second-place Chelsea take on Brentford. AFP Sports looks at the major talking points ahead of the weekend action. Manchester City's run of 1 win in 10 games in all competitions in an unprecedented slump for the English champions during Pep Guardiola's reign. Guardiola admitted he was questioning himself after the club's latest defeat. A 2-0 loss at Juventus left them in a danger of missing out on the Champions League knockout stages. Real Madrid manager Carlo Ancelotti has confirmed that Kylian Mbappe will not feature in the team's upcoming match, but will travel with the squad to Doha for the Intercontinental Cup. Ancelotti assured fans, in more positive news for Los Blancos, midfielder Eduardo Camavinga has returned to full fitness and is ready to make his comeback. Ancelotti also took a moment to heap praise on Brazilian forward Vinicius Jr., lauding his skill and attitude. And from our entertainment decks, Queen Dami, the estranged wife of the late ALAAFIN of Oyo and now ex-girlfriend of the controversial singer Portable, has announced her decision to end their relationship. Citing public embarrassment, in a message shared on her Instagram page, Queen Dami expressed her frustration and declared she could no longer endure the situation. She wrote, "Alhamdulillah, she's done. This is too much for her and can't take the embarrassment again. Ireu." Her announcement comes just hours after Portable publicly criticized her in a viral video. In the clip, the singer questioned Queen Dami's online presence and insinuated doubts about her lifestyle choices. He also accused her of disregarding her alleged instructions to stay offline, asking if she was a housewife or a runs girl. And this is where we wrap it up on today's news. For more information or contributions and advert placement, please call the numbers displayed on your screen. Join us daily to watch our news and other exciting programs that would brighten your day. You can also subscribe to all our social media handles to watch our previous and subsequent programs. We MLC TV, reaching everywhere, informing everyone. Please be your brothers and sisters keeper to build a happier and better society together. Thanks for watching. I am Gift Daniel. Have a beautiful weekend.